America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
Racism is still alive and kicking in America.
This is no different than Jim Crow.
Am I not making my point clear enough?
I think we've always asked New Yorkers, you see something, say something, do something.
So by now you probably heard about the Daniel Penny verdict, where the judge dismissed his first count in regards to the manslaughter charge. And yes, BLM is outraged by that. And the father is now suing Daniel Penny. I know, can you believe it? But let's start with what BLM had to say about the jury.
If you pick a white supremacist jury specialist and you pack the jury with white people, obviously you think race has a significant role in this case, and obviously you were looking for that one white supremacist holdout. That one holdout. Might have been more, but there was definitely one person in there that said, I'm not gonna convict this white kid for killing that poor little mentally ill Negro piece of trash. Forgive my language, but I'm proving a point. This is how they think. The defendant himself called Jordan a dirty crackhead. And the police let him go. The police found inconsistencies in his story and allowed Daniel Penny to walk free. When does that happen for black people? Am I not making my point clear enough?
Okay, so before I even respond to that nonsense, what we do know about the jury is this. It's made up of 7 women and 5 men. And what we also know is individuals like this are only going to see this type of case in one way. And that is, this is all about white supremacy. The system is racist. They're trying to hold black people down. I mean, that's the only way they're going to see it. So what's the point of the video, and why am I reacting to this? Well, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people walking around, white, Mexican, Asian, and black, who literally believe the same things that this guy believes in. So yeah, I'm going to speak on it.
Racism has its tentacles all over this case. Racism has its evil tentacles all over its case and all around the minds of white America. Are all white people bad? No. The prosecution did a phenomenal job. The judge is trying his hardest to bring justice to Jordan Neely's name. But racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart.
You guys should go Google this yourself. It's the story about Andrew Coffey IV. Okay, this is an individual where SWAT raided his home. They killed his girlfriend, and he killed law enforcement officers during the raid himself. And he was found not guilty. Technically, he was acquitted of all charges. And he was facing, by the way, a second-degree felony murder. 3 counts. So when he gets up there and he says, well, you know, it's because he was white and the other guy was black, this would never happen, I guess he doesn't know about that story, does he? And of course, you guys heard how he was being respectful towards the prosecutor and the judge and saying, yeah, they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. Oh, but wait a minute, our country is still racist. So which one is it, right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Now, he wasn't the only one who had something to say that's out of touch. Here is the actual co-founder of Black Lives Matter in New York.
I stand here heartbroken because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free, who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there doing Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan.
Now, if you guys have been enjoying this video so far, do us a favor, please like and share and subscribe to this channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, shop the merch store, or buy us a cup of coffee. Okay, so anybody with some level of common sense about this case and can actually discern the truth would know that what she is saying is just utterly false. And what I mean by that when you're talking about Daniel Penny as a hero is this. If Jordan Neely actually ended up killing someone on that subway train, would they have come out and still said the same thing? Would they say, oh, well, you know, they're really trying to stick it to him. Oh, well, you know, he had mental illness problems. Well, you know, the system is oppressed. That's why he did it. I mean, I find it funny that we haven't noticed that even when the individual actually commits the crime and they are convicted, that they're still crying about the system. Now let's look at the actual facts. In 2015, Jordan Neely kidnapped a 7-year-old girl. In 2019, Jordan Neely punched a 64-year-old man in the face. In 2021, Jordan Neely slugged a 67-year-old woman in the face as she exited the subway, broke her nose, and fractured her orbital bone. So in the end, Jordan Neely was arrested 44 times, but never faced real justice for terrorizing New Yorkers. It is the Manhattan District's attorney's responsibility for this death, for creating such an anti-law enforcement culture, but also enabling Jordan Neely's behavior that led him to this point where he had this encounter with Daniel Penny.
And people who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask us to love this country. America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
Well, the good news is not all black people actually believe that, and I'm definitely one of them. I know that I love this country, no question about it. I would not want to be born in any other country, for the record. I'm sure you probably have had days where you thought, man, I'm so grateful that God had allowed me to be born in the United States of America. I will take that any day than being born in North Korea, right? So that's my first thing. And then secondly, screaming and getting emotional is never going to be good when you're trying to make a point, especially when that point involves rhetoric about starting riots over this, right? And listen, BLM has already have a terrible rap for doing things like that and destructing this country. So clearly no one's really going to take this seriously except the true believers of Black Lives Matter. But I think what we can take seriously is what Mayor Eric Adams had to say about this case.
What do you think a conviction or a 15-year prison sentence would, it would seem like no one would step in on a situation like that again. It seems like a bad precedent, and it almost seems like, I don't know, it's a reflection of what's been going on in the city for a while, where someone trying to actually help out in a situation ends up on the losing end.
Well, I think we've always asked New Yorkers, you see something, say something, do something. And New Yorkers have always had the spirit and energy to come to their fellow New Yorkers. And we have to be honest about the severe mental health crisis that we're facing. In no way I want to do anything that's going to make the jury decision harmful in any way. He was going to be judged by a jury of his peers. They're deliberating. Let's let them do that job. But I do know we have a broken system of dealing with severe mental health illness in not only our subway system, but on our streets. I have been advocating to give us more power for involuntary removal for those who can't take care of themselves and are dangerous to others. And this young man was part of that problem. He was in a revolving door mental health system, and we have to do a better job of that. And I wish his family well, and I wish the family of Mr. Penny well as well.
Okay, so he's touching on two things that could be true at the same time. Number one, the mental health crisis in our country. There has not been an actual significant advancement on anything in a very long time in that industry. I mean, when's the last time you really heard of a breakthrough in that industry and how it has positively impacted Americans? It's been a very long time. It's the one industry that continues to lag behind all the other industries. Secondly, what is also true is that if someone is terrorizing New Yorkers, then we need to do something about it. And do not be afraid to protect your fellow citizens, especially if it's in the form of self-defense. And nobody should truly be condemned for doing that. However, this next story about what his father decided to do just might shock you. Jordan Neely's father sues Daniel Penny as New York City jury deliberates verdict for subway chokehold death. Think about this for a second. A father who was never really there now wants to get paid. I find that to be so interesting, right? So here's what the story is saying. The lawsuit filed in New York Supreme Court on Wednesday accuses the Long Island Marine veteran of negligent contact, assault, and battery that caused injuries in Neely's death last year. Neely's father, Andre Zachary, demands judgment awarding damages in a sum which exceeds the jurisdictional limits of all lower courts, which would otherwise have jurisdiction. Now, just a little background for you. So Neely's mother, Christy, was murdered in 2007 when he was 14 years of age. Clearly, that probably impacted him mentally and emotionally, I'm sure of it. But there isn't much public information about the father's involvement in Neely's life post 2007, which is why clearly Neely struggled with homelessness and mental health issues. Now, when you bring a civil suit, you know, the actual standard is much lower than if you go into court with a jury. So, you know, it's not about reasonable doubt. It's more about damages. And because Jordan Neely was he had died, then there's a damage there. I just find it interesting, the timing. Like, okay, now you want to sue. Why haven't you brought cases against the New York system in regards to mental health? Why haven't you done that? Why didn't you sue all these other times that he was arrested? What about that? Oh, you only wait until he finally is threatening someone else's life. Then he loses his life in the process. And now you want to get paid. And by the way, one of the most important facts about this entire case is that the coroner ruled his death not because of the chokehold, but due to drugs and other things. Now, here's my question for you that I'd love for you to answer in the comment section below. Do you think Jordan Neely's father's lawsuit against Daniel Penny is about true justice, or them just taking advantage of the opportunity in front of them to get paid? Let me know what your thoughts are about that in the comment section below. Now, speaking about opportunities, the Vice President-elect J.D. Vance came out yesterday in defense of Pete Hegseth and had a chilling message for the media. There was additional stories that we talked about in that video as well, but if you want to check it out, all you have to do is click on it because it's coming up right now.